those guys too when he hasn't been able to get on the field. But Marcus Martin is a guy that looked like he was doing a little bit more than those other guys in the spring.
Yeah. And that speaks to the point of only having one undrafted rookie. A lot of times those guys, you'd have a couple undrafted rookies in that kind of group of, young offensive linemen. It's much more experience there for whatever reason this year.
David Bethlehem writes in, have followed Stidham's injury since last year. The vague description of how or when it happened makes me think it involves some bad judgment off campus. Recent absence. A couple weeks ago, Tom Curran wrote Stidham hurt his groin. Makes me wonder if that was the injury from last summer and perhaps this summer too. If this is a chronic recurring condition, he could well be done.
Who's this? I missed the beginning.
Stidham.
If so, can you see Newton playing second fiddle to Jones? Really? I don't know if that has anything
that one
to
in
do
at
with
the end.
it, but,
Yeah.
It's just disappointing. I don't know what else to say about it. We don't know specifically what it is. It's just, we all kind of had some kind of question. Who is Jarrett Stidham? Could he be even a career backup, which is still something valuable? It's not.
And I would look for someone, Jim McBride might be a good candidate because he's tends to have a lot of injury-related information. Someone's going to tell you what's going on with Stidham.
Yeah.
And it's going to be something.
I would like to say this. Not all EVs are the same. We have the most efficient EVs, and that efficiency and that tech race will make the world a better place for all mankind.
I'll pop a link to MSN in the show notes if you want to have a read more about that story. Next, let's look at the plug-in vehicle market in Europe. Yesterday, we were talking about how China is smashing it with 15% last month in June. Well, anything you can do, I can do better, says Europe, with a 19% market share last month in June of plug-in vehicles. That's, let's call it 20%. We're all friends here. And I just don't know how anybody can now deny that this electric vehicle movement isn't just happening, but it's happening so quickly. And people will point back and look at how everyone had a Nokia phone one day, and where are they now? And everyone had a BlackBerry in business back in the day. Where are they now? And so lots of people making those comparisons. Everyone had a Polaroid camera, used Kodak film, and technology moves quickly, and people are saying that with EVs, we are at an inflection point that you and I are interested in right now. European passenger plug-in market was 237,000 registrations in the month of June alone. How amazing is that? Doesn't mean that there's 250,000 gas-guzzling cars, polluting cars off the road, but it does mean almost 250,000 EVs on the road. Last month's plug-in vehicle share was 19%. 10% of that is pure electrics. The number one, in case you're wondering, here in Europe, the number one in June was the Tesla Model 3. That is often attributed, though, to the weird cadence of Tesla's, you'll get your car when the ships arrive, because there's no Berlin factory yet. So we can't get it drip, drip. We get it in one go. And it's often skewed towards the end of the quarter. So that's why in June, the Model 3 had a great month, 26,178 deliveries in June. The best performance ever in Europe, and the second best performance ever by any EV in this market in a single month. It was behind the current record holder, the VW ID3, which was 28,110 units in a single month that Volkswagen registered just in time before the end of the year ticked over. Some people had a real issue about those pre-registrations or selling them to themselves for company cars. Some got the knickers in a real twist about that. But hey, who cares? It's EVs on the road. Number two, Renault Zoe had 8,244 deliveries last month in June. Volkswagen ID3 was in third place. Volkswagen ID4 was in fourth place. And if you look at some other interesting numbers, let's have a look here. Outside the top 20, we do want to give a couple of honourable mentions for cars just hitting the market. The Hyundai Ioniq 5, which is the retro futuristic pixel car, had 1,100 registrations in Europe. really, as those cars just came off the ships. And the Audi Q4 e-tron, again, just making their ways into dealers, had 2,000 registrations. So next month we'll look at how the July figures did. Look, just again, yesterday China, today Europe. We know other parts of the world are slowly kind of catching up a little bit, but it's a real duking out of those two big car markets right now, and the winners are EVs, so we love it. Next, we'll talk about Mercedes-Benz EQE, sister car to the EQS. The EQE SUV will launch next year in 2022, and it's obviously going to be a big rival to the likes of the Tesla Model X, Jaguar I-Pace, Audi e-tron. It won't be the largest Mercedes-Benz SUV that we'll see in the coming years, but it will be positioned around the top of the EV lineup, above the EQC and obviously above the EQA as well. The EQE badge, E-Class in other words, shared across two cars, which is I always think is a little bit weird, but the EQS actually refers to two, a sedan and an SUV, and the EQE actually refers to two cars. A sedan and an SUV. From the A-pillars backwards, the SUV says autoexpress.co.uk says the SUV takes on a more traditional 4x4 proportion compared to the EQC. Styling changes include a stubby bonnet, long wheelbase, and a swept back cabin. Why have they done that? Well, that's because the EQE is built on a pure EV platform. So you don't need a massive bonnet because you're not retrofitting a platform that was designed for mass...